My name is Harmony Baum, and I was born from the remnants of ancient stars. I'm a witch that taps into the cosmic forces and ancient magic, bending them to shape my reality. Welcome in for the Journey to Magic Part 5. The Triangle of Providence and Spell number 5, Calling in Spirit to work for you. Part 1, the Triangle of Money, Health, Time. Define what magic is, and that you are a witch, a warlock, a sorcerer, a psychic, a mystic, as an evolved starseed by your birthright. You can be whatever you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. The number 1 key to the universe. As above, so below. With spell number 1, chanting. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Part 2, the triangle of the conscious, preconscious, and subconscious. The unconscious. The science of how you are electricity. Animated spirit, magic. The strength of you and your power is within your level of awareness and your level of consciousness. Spell number 2, biofeedback. Part 3, the triangle of 369. Triangle of body, mind, soul, animal, emotion, eternal spark. 369, numerology. It's the simulation code. Look for codes around you. It's not coincidence. It is communication from your guides, angels, ancestors, energies. The Akashic record. You can access the Akashic record, aka the super conscious mind, at any time, and it will guide you without fail. Spell number 3, journaling. A healing spell. A power healing spell. Part 4, the triangle of the predicting machine. What I see, what I expect to see, and what happens next. Who is in control? Well, it's not a binary answer of yes, no. Yes, you're conscious, or no, you're not conscious. Rather, it exists on a spectrum or continuum with varying levels of awareness, attention, and self-reflection. Mastering past, present, future. With dreams, visualization, spell number 4, fantasy or virtual reality. Be the master of the 3 realms with awareness, attention, and self-reflection of your input and output stimuli. Spell number 4, visualization. Part 5, let's get it. How can a 3-pound mass of jelly that you can hold in the palm of your hand imagine angels, contemplate the meaning of infinity, and even question its own place in the cosmos? Especially awe-inspiring is the fact that any single brain, including yours, is made up of atoms that were forged in the hearts of countless far-flung stars billions of years ago. V.S. Ramachandran. The Eye of Providence is depicted as a single eye within a triangle. A single eye within a triangle, surrounded by rays of light, and symbolizes divine watchfulness, the protective care of God, or the all-seeing eye of God. A key to the universe is empathy, tapping into the oneness. Pharrell created a masterclass using this universal key, empathy, and testified that through this energy, he was able to write Happy for Despicable Me 2. After 9 rejected submissions for the Despicable Me 2 soundtrack, he reached a point of creative frustration. In an interview to BusinessInsider.com, Pharrell said, "That broke me." Happy was challenging and transformative for Pharrell Williams because he discovered the power of the second key to the universe, empathy. Happy is one of the most important songs of Pharrell's entire career, achieving remarkable success both commercially and culturally. Happy topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 10 consecutive weeks in 2014. Globally, Happy sold 13.9 million units in 2014, making it the year's most successful song. Happy was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song and won the Grammy Award for Best Pop Solo Performance. The image of the all-seeing eye of God appears on the reverse side of the U.S. Great Seal, which is featured on the back of the U.S. $1 bill. It sits atop a pyramid, which represents the strength, durability, and the unification of the 13 tribes. Number 13. The eye at the top symbolizing the concept that God is watching over all life and that divine providence guides your destiny. The cult classic, The Fifth Element, 1997 science fiction action film starring Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, Gary Oldman, and Chris Tucker. The film takes place in the 23rd century, where the universe is threatened by an ancient evil force that reappears every 5,000 years. The evil is represented as a mysterious black force that can only be stopped by a powerful and mythical element known as the Fifth Element. The 5 elements, earth, air, fire, water, and the mysterious fifth element, are needed to activate a weapon capable of defeating the dark force. Lilu, who embodies the fifth element, becomes the key to humanity's survival. The film explores themes of love, sacrifice, and the idea that love is the ultimate power capable of saving the universe, embodying the heart of the fifth element. It's awesome! Luke Besson, thank you for creating. Carl Sagan writes in his book, The Varieties of Scientific Experience, a personal search for God. Up there was matter, which was perfect, a special kind of celestial matter that is, by the way, the origin of our word quintessential. There were 4 essences down here, the imagined 4 elements of earth, water, fire, and air. And there was that fifth element, that fifth essence out of which the heaven stuff was made. And that's why the word quintessential, fifth essence, comes about. It's interesting to see a kind of linguistic artifact of the previous worldview still present in the Oxford Unabridged. Carl Sagan, thank you for sharing with the world things you think are amazing. So let's do some witch shit with spell number 5 and call in spirit. Call in the Eye of Providence, the infinite spark, the oneness to light you. This is a feature spell of this episode, so I'll really lay into the details, but you can just do the spell in 5 seconds. Roots down, branches up, I'm guided by light. Starhawk describes it best in her audio, The Beginner's Guide to Wicca, how to practice earth-centered spirituality. It can become a very automatic thing where you just take a breath and you go, roots down, branches up, and you're grounded. And that's good, because when you really need to be grounded, often you don't have time. It's when you're not safe, when you're on the playground and suddenly your child is at the top of the slide tottering and you're afraid they're gonna fall. Or when you're caught in the middle of traffic and somebody's coming right at you through a red light. Or when you're in the middle of a political demonstration and suddenly the police are coming down the street. You don't have time to stop and do a 45-minute meditation. But if you practice, you'll be able to take a breath and just in an instant be in a state where you can be calm, present, and aware with energy available to you. So when your boss is screaming at you, you can stop and you can say to yourself in that one instant, how do I want to react to this? What choices can I actually make? And when you can do that, chances are, whatever the situation is, you're going to make a better choice when you can make it from a grounded place. Well said, Starhawk, and thank you. This spell feels most powerful to me when I'm around nature. When it's windy, I always make sure to pair or emphasize the forgiveness spell with it. I super also love to do energy work within a hot yoga flow class, pulling in the strength and determination from the forces around me. There are some powerful Qigong movements that help you feel like you are cycling energy with your breath. Inhale the elements, energies, and spirits that you want to help you on your journey, and release anything that's exhausted or no longer serves you. Spell number 5, pull in the elements to work for you. The Pentacle. Call in the Eye of Providence, the infinite spark, the oneness to light you. I take conscious deep breaths. Breath is spirit. By moving my spirit, my breath function into my active mind, I am beginning to work with spirit. I ground myself by acknowledging my nature as a complex, evolved plant. I envision and feel my roots extending deep into the earth's core. The magma, still warm from Earth's formation 4.5 billion years ago. I visualize my spine forming a golden cord the core of the earth, the creative fire that builds new lands. Anything you want to release or let go of, take a deep breath and push it down into the fire in the middle of the earth. Let the fire take it away and transform it back into pure energy. I physically channel celestial energies using the Qigong posture. Sage holds up the universe. I form a connection between heaven and earth. By raising my arms and aligning the body, I open energy channels, allowing cosmic chi to flow through me, strengthening the lower dantian while expanding my connection to the middle and upper dantian, bridging the physical and spiritual energies. Go slow. Sage holds up the universe. When you release your breath, you can envision a Merkaba, a 3D form of the Star of David forming around you. Or you can envision a sphere forming around you, an energizing force of truth, harmony, love, faith, preservation, and protection around you, or whatever shape, 4D symbol or form that is personal and meaningful to you. Energizing and creating a filter. What frequencies are allowed to penetrate in and be close to you. You have control. My golden spinal cord draws up warmth, power, and light, filling and circulating my body with positivity to the lower dantian. Located inside my stomach, about 2 inches below my navel, filling my body's main energy reservoir, my elixir field, or my sea of chi, cultivating my vital life force chi. Each breath fills the reservoir with warm, powerful light from the earth's core, overflowing my lower dantian up to my middle dantian, located in my heart center. Warmth harmonizes my emotions and connects me to the universal empathy. My deep conscious breaths keep pulling up more light, more warmth, positivity, and power to continue and fill and overflow my lower and middle dantian to reach my upper dantian, my third eye, linking me to the intuition guided by the universe. Now I will go through the script of the spell. So this is the words you speak to cast the spell. You can speak them out loud, you can write them down, or you can just say it in your head, or better yet, all three, or paint it too. Light up the creative hemisphere of your brain with your analytical side. The more you cast the spell and think about it, the more powerful it becomes, the more powerful you become. Energy, frequency, vibration, 369. I'll post the script for this spell in the description. Whenever I say manifestation, that is where you fill in what you want. Detail your manifestation. The more you personalize this script, the more powerful it will be for you. Okay, let's get it. I call in fire and thank you for your transformative powers. Fire spirits, ruler of the south, summer and electricity. I call in your powers. Let's burn all thoughts, actions, and emotions that are no longer serving me. Transform them back into pure energy. I purify my spirit by setting my mind and body and soul on fire with my manifestation. My dream is my destiny. I am a celestial soul residing within this human body to embark on a spiritual journey that enhances myself and the world. I require this body to be healthy to fulfill my destiny. By the power of my determined will and the powers of the universe, I command my body to miraculously heal and genetically reprogram into the version of my higher self. I require my manifestation to complete my soul's experience. Fire, propel me forward. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Thank you, fire. I am warm light. I call in water and thank thee for your powerful healing waters. Yin element and ruler of the north, winter, and the great buffalo. By the power of my determined will and the powers of the universe, I command joy, wealth, good fortune, and progression, physically, mentally, and spiritually, to quickly, easily, and effortlessly pour into my life, overflowing my cup of vitality with ease and grace. I enchant my body by drinking 8+ glasses of water daily. I'm thankful for the blessing of clean water and the powers I hold to consume it. I humbly recognize the unity I share with all life through the water I drink, knowing each drop has traveled through countless organisms and undergone a long journey through the environment to reach and nourish my light. I am warm light. I visualize with feeling the creativity, harmony, purifying, and healing forces of water. I consume the creativity, harmony, purifying, and healing forces of water. By the power of my determined will and the powers of the universe, I command the water elements to gently guide me and merrily flow through me to transform me into the higher version of myself. My life is but a dream. Thank you, water. I call in air and thank you for your powers of discovery. I use breathing exercises, movement, and meditation to balance, cultivate, and direct the flow of my life force energy, chi, throughout my body to promote health, vitality, and spiritual well-being. Air, powerful force of the west and wind. Air, be my guide. I thank the air for the time and space I have to visualize with feeling the air currents carrying away my troubles, blowing away my strife, and carrying positive thoughts to those who are far away from me. I embrace the wind and I deeply breathe in air's energy and powers. By the power of my determined will and the powers of the universe, I command my body to bring this stimuli to my attention that will easily, breezily drift my desires to me. Joyfully, quickly, easily, and effortlessly, I breathe in chi, life force energy, and I thank you, air, and the universe for my human experience. I call in earth and thank you, Shima, mother, for your grounding powers of stability, grounding, growth, and completion. I visualize with feeling my desires now fulfilled in my life, quickly, easily, effortlessly, and joyfully. By the power of my determined will and the powers of the universe, I command the opposites of spirit and matter to merge and unify all the elements that make me, me. Nourished by your powers, Mother Shima, I am the Master Alchemist. Thank you, Earth, by the power of my determined will and the powers of the universe. I physically close my fists, tensing my body for my will's forceful directive to make things happen. I call in the elements, all spirits, and all energies that surround me and command you to guide me with truth, self-preservation, and a strong sense of purpose towards my manifestation and my best self. I now physically release with open palms facing upward. My intentions are now open and relaxed. My open palms provide a loose structure, allowing the possibility for my manifestation to happen quickly, easily, effortlessly, and joyfully. My path is guided by the cosmos. I feel relaxed and peaceful, walking the beauty way up the mountaintop to my manifestation. I carry with me the 3 sacred elements: hope, faith, and love. With each step, I surrender, I release, and I trust the illuminated path before me. With beauty before me, may I walk. With beauty behind me, may I walk. With beauty above me, may I walk. With beauty below me, may I walk. With beauty all around me, may I walk. This is a very real and very powerful spell, and I want to extend a word of caution to you. Exodus chapter 20, verse 7. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. In ancient times, names weren't just labels or identifiers. They carried deep cosmic meaning in the code. God's name isn't just a word. God's name is an identity. God's name is power. God's name is authority. And God's name is presence. God's name is the feeling of those words. God's name is the energy of identity, power, authority, and presence. That's why the commandant reminds us to treat it with respect. It's about honoring the divine force behind it, beneath it, all around it. And now you're casting spells. You're programming your brain with symbols, words, and meanings that will shape your reality. When you use this spell, you're calling in God's presence and the spirit forces around you to move your life. You're calling in everything. Be mindful. Mixed signals matter. The phrase, "don't cry wolf," comes from one of Aesop's fables, and it is a metaphorical warning against raising false alarms or making exaggerated claims that can lead to others not taking you seriously when there is a real problem. Believe your words, feelings, and intentions hold weight. That words are powerful symbols. If you believe, you will achieve. If you doubt, you go without. Carelessly calling on spirit like, "oh my God," or whatever can distort your intention. So don't dishonor your spells. Keep them powerful and keep spirit focused to work for you. Don't cry wolf. Remember, electrical energy is everywhere around you. It's what happens when charged particles like electrons move, powering everything from the lightning in the sky to the neurons firing in your brain. It's one of the fundamental forces of nature running through circuits, storms, and even inside of you. Science can measure it, but you can also feel it. Energy is always flowing. Electricity is a powerful and invisible force. It has spiritual significance, and it is in you and all around you. Okay, let's break down the last chunk of this spell. And again, this spell is most powerful when you adapt it to what uniquely makes sense to you. The Beauty Way is a Navajo prayer that embodies harmony, balance, and respect for all living things, reflecting this same deep connection to spiritual guidance and presence. The Beauty Way is meaningful to me as a person who suffers with anxiety. When I can feel my emotional responses kicking in, I take control of the situation within my mind by reciting the Beauty Way, asking angels, spirits around me to leave me with good memories and beauty ahead of me. You could say instead there, "I keep God with me, making all I do to be divinely guided. I have victory in Jesus, who lives within my heart and keeps me in his sacred vault of harmony, truth, self-preservation, love, beauty, faith, protection, creation, and or whatever adjective you know God to be, and invoke these truths." The truths that you know God to be. You are calling in these aspects of God to reveal themselves to you. To reveal themselves to you in your life and guide you to where you want to be. Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Matthew 7:7. So you can alter the Navajo spell to create a Christ-based faith spell. I'll post these two versions of the prayer in the comments. Use them. Use them. Edit them. Curate this spell with language that rings true to you. You want to impregnate your subconscious mind, so use familiar terms you were raised with. Write it in your journals. Draw it in your journals. Joseph Murphy, 1898 to 1981, was a minister, author, and teacher. I talk about him all the time. I really resonate with his teachings on the power of the subconscious mind and the role of positive thinking in achieving success, health, and happiness. Joseph Murphy wrote about how he would use prayer to impregnate the subconscious mind of his flock, his congregation, people around him. God keeps them safe in his sacred vault of grace, ease, truth, and self-preservation. Joseph Murphy, his teachings affirm that using spell number 5, if you call in spirit, spirit will return communication to you. And watch your dreams. I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. Numbers chapter 12, verse 6. Joseph Murphy wrote about how dream communication after prayer impregnation successfully worked on numerous occasions in his life. 1, to guide a woman in his Congress not to travel on a plane that subsequently crashed. He prayed with her, and he had a dream, and so did she. 2, a university woman was led to a safe choice to avoid a violent attack from a predator from her dreams. Spirit alerted her mother in a dream, and she woke up and used this prayer to pray over her daughter until she felt peace and could go back to sleep. Spirit then notified her daughter in a dream. 3, guide a woman to collapse the space-time continuum, to astral project herself into her dream home. 4, a soldier caught in the heat of battle during World War II, facing the real thought of being struck by enemy fire. In that moment, he calls upon his inner strength, activating his superhuman consciousness, essentially unlocking the power of his subconscious mind through prayer. As he reaches out for guidance, intuitive visions form in his mind, revealing a clear and safe path through the chaos of the battlefield, steering him away from the enemy's fire. Without fully understanding how, he follows this inner guidance, moving instinctively towards safety. Later, when reflecting on the experience, he realizes that it was the subconscious mind that had led him to safety, guiding him through a perilous situation. Wow. And a version of this super powerful spell is found in almost every continent, culture, and religion. Within spell number 5 lie the 4 steps required to manifest your magnum opus, the Philosopher's Stone. 1, fire. Burn all thoughts of lack and limitation. 2, soothe in the healing waters of joy. 3, with the power of air, focus on your light and your curiosity. 4, ground in the comfort of earth, accepting and doing your best by your human mind and body with love to finally redden the stone to completion, the magnum opus, fused together by the powers of spirit. This is the pagan call to the elements. Prayer is part of Wicca, pagan and neo-pagan traditions. This prayer, this spell, a ritual to honor and invoke the 4 elements. In Tibetan Buddhism, the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air or wind, and space, are fundamental components that constitute both the external universe and the internal human experience. These elements are categorized into 3 wheels of time. 1, outer wheel of time, the external environment, the physical universe and its constituents. 2, inner wheel of time, the internal aspect of beings, the human body and its processes. 3, the other wheel of time, the initiations, the paths within the teachings. This framework illustrates how the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, individual beings, are interconnected through these external forces. His Holiness the Dalai Lama describes the self or person as an aggregation of 6 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness, in his book Illuminating the Path to Enlightenment. Qigong is a Chinese practice of energy cultivation that combines breathing techniques, movement, and meditation to improve physical health, emotional well-being, and your spiritual balance. Reiki is a Japanese spiritual energy healing practice. The word Reiki literally translates to universal life energy or spiritual energy. Rei means spirit or universal. Ki means energy or life force, which is similar to the Chinese concept of Qi or prana in Indian traditions. In Huna, mana is the life force or spiritual energy that flows through everything in the universe. Huna shamans believe that by channeling and manipulating mana, they can affect both the physical and spiritual realms. Mana is harnessed through rituals, prayers, and visualization, and shamans use it for the purposes such as healing, protection, manifestation, and spiritual development. Huna shamans use energy-based healing techniques to restore balance, harmony, and empower a person's body and mind to clear blockages. Many Huna healers focus on helping people clear emotional or spiritual blockages that prevent them from achieving happiness or health on this earth. They use techniques to remove negative energy and restore the flow of mana. And 2, align the 3 selves. Yes, the Trinity, the higher self, the wise spiritual self that is in connection with the divine, ancestors, spirits, and higher wisdom. The subconscious, the instinctual, the subconscious aspect of the self, it governs feelings and memories and automatic responses. Work with this to heal emotional wounds or reprogram limiting beliefs. The conscious self, the rational, everyday consciousness, the part of you that thinks, analyzes, and interacts with the physical world. It is considered the thinking mind that interprets reality. The conscious mind, logic, awareness, interaction with the world. Interestingly, in Hindu philosophy, Atman refers to the true self or soul, often equated with Brahman, the ultimate divine reality. Vedic thought, layers of consciousness, then the individual soul interacting with the material world, manas, mind, emotions, and sensory perception, buddhi, higher intelligence, discernment, Atman, eternal, divine self beyond the mind. The central focus of Sufism is the love of God and the belief that spiritual growth is a journey toward unity and the divine. Famous Sufi figures include Rumi, the poet whose teachings and poetry have resonated deeply across the world. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside you. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Set your life on fire. Wow. Is this not so interesting? Electrical energy flows through everything around you, just like magic is woven into the fabric of the world. Recognize different levels of consciousness and a higher divine connection. Focus with practical energy work like reprogramming your subconscious, emphasizing on self-realization and unity. Energy work is a spiritual art. I will create a full episode on spiritual arts and separate videos for each element and also about the pentacle symbol. I really want to focus this channel on wealth creation because I need money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. And that's what you should want. Fuel for your fire. This is all the law of attraction, impregnating your subconscious empathic attunement to what you want. The essence of magic is the law of attraction. Put intentional, conscious, curious focus on the positive thoughts, brain waves, situations, frequencies, energies, your feelings that you want to create. Then take your 3 to the mountaintop. Put your faith in your subconscious and the divine bridge of incidents to bring the relevant stimuli to your attention to lead you joyously on the path to your desire fulfilled. And running through the elements with your manifestation is a super fun and feel-good exercise. It's a super fun, feel-good thought pattern, emotion, and brain activity that can promote your happiness, elevate your mood, make you feel safe and directed. Science has studied happiness. Science has been studying happiness for centuries. Ancient philosopher Aristotle wrote in his work Nicomachean Ethics in 340 BCE his research on human flourishing or living a fulfilled life or the good life. The modern study of happiness is positive psychology, which really began in the 1990s. We know happiness is a choice and that happiness spreads. It's contagious. Happiness is contagious. 90% of long-term happiness comes from how we process the world, our interpretations, our mindset, and our responses to life's ups and downs. We may not always control the events that happen to us, but we can control how we perceive and respond to them. By cultivating a positive growth-oriented mindset, practicing emotional regulation, and focusing on meaning and purpose, we can increase our long-term happiness and well-being. A 2005 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that positive emotional well-being was associated with a lower risk of death. The study followed over 1,500 older adults for 5 years and found that those who reported feeling happier and more positive had a lower risk of dying from all causes. Dr. Laura Kubazanski and her colleagues at Harvard University have also conducted research showing that positive emotions can contribute to a longer life expectancy. Their 2015 study found that individuals with higher levels of emotional well-being and life satisfaction had a lower risk of developing cardiovascular diseases, which are major contributors to early death. Dr. Sheldon Cohen, a researcher at Carnegie Mellon University, conducted an influential study on the relationship between positive emotions and immune function. He found that people who were more optimistic, had a greater social support, were less likely to develop colds when exposed to the virus. The Blue Zone study, which examined regions of the world where people live the longest, found that social connections and optimism and a sense of purpose were central to the longevity of people in these regions. Viktor Frankl, in his famous book, Man's Search for Meaning, argued that those who can find meaning, even in the most difficult of circumstances, are more likely to thrive in the long run. Check out this schema of reality I found in the book, How to Make Good Things Happen. Know Your Brain, Enhance Your Life by Marian Rojas, MD. The 1% of external stimuli information is funneled into our interpretation of reality. That's amplified by our beliefs and our level of consciousness. Our interpretation of reality evolves and affects our DNA, which is then passed down for generations. Your interpretation of your reality evolves and affects your DNA, which is then passed down generations. Our interpretation of reality flows in a two-way system with our state of mind that is affected by a number of conscious reasons, which then becomes our main mode of response. We can change the lens of which we view the world. Then we can change our worlds. The moon sheds its shadow to be born again. Burn down what isn't working for you and feed the light of your original instructions, your authentic nature, just being yourself, your true essence. You can feel it in your body. I attune to the thing I want to become from the inside out until my version of its genius presents itself. The Cree cosmology, I feel, is a bang on good visual interpretation of an experience with magic, God, elements, the universe, and spirit. A visual interpretation that is a different experience for everyone in feeling and in circumstances. I think it's interesting also to note that animal spirits, like symbols and other forms, are often seen as holding a higher wisdom than humans. In many traditions, including Cree, animal spirits possess great wisdom and guidance that can transcend human understanding. Their wisdom is more direct or pure because they are closely connected to nature and the spiritual realm. Animals, plants, and other elements of nature are sacred beings that carry important lessons and energies for us to understand. Animals and nature are on a higher spiritual plane than humans. Us humans who walk around possessed or clouded by ego and material concerns. Symbols, including those of animals, carry deep meaning. Spirit uses meaning with symbols to communicate important teachings to you or us, the humans. Numbers are symbols. Numerology, angel numbers. Animals, plants, and elements, they are symbols. Letters and words are symbols. And that's the illusory nature of magic. Your magical experiences can be symbolic or metaphorical, or from a physical vessel of another person, maybe a healer or a spirit helper to you, maybe a stranger on the street delivering a random quip that matched your inner thoughts, or an elemental spirit like air, earth, water, fire, animal spirit, plant spirit, ancestral spirit, rock spirit. Maybe you won't understand in the present moment the magic or blessing until you look back on the memory years later to see your rainbow forming in the background. Maybe your experience will be directly with spirit, directly with the divine. You can ask for clear signs. I dream literally and clearly. Check out this experience Tara and Linda Jameson, the psychic twins, wrote about in their book, Psychic Intelligence. Tune in and discover the power of your intuition. We were taking our daily walk in the beautiful hills of our neighborhood when Terry said a silent prayer to the angels and nature divas, spirits of nature, asking for a sign that we were on the right track with our work and our path to healing ourselves of lifelong illness. Within minutes, a bright monarch butterfly circled us, followed by several more. Then, to our utter amazement, scores of butterflies swarmed out from behind the homes and trees on the hills, descending upon us by the hundreds and the thousands. They came out of nowhere, a magnificent, colorful swirl of winged creatures that completely surrounded us. And their numbers increased as we walked another hour toward home. When we stopped other people and asked them about the butterflies, they said they did not see them. In fact, they were totally confused. The two of us were completely astonished because no one else was able to see this vision. This was undeniably a powerful omen from our angelic guides, letting us know that a great transformation had occurred for us. The butterfly phenomenon continued for 2 days and just as quickly vanished. It was truly a sign of blessings to come, and it remains this day one of the most magical experiences of our lives. Wow! I would love to have an experience like that. Wouldn't you? Brilliant. I am ready to transform. I am ready to transform. Let's take this caller.
Hey, thanks, Harmony Bomb. I see billboards around my place that say, Jesus, your only way to know God. Is that true?
Yeah, I've seen those too. You don't have to look for spirit because it is the consciousness that dwells within you. The force will be with you always. This is one of the most famous lines spoken by Obi-Wan Kenobi as he prepares to go into battle. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, 1977. It symbolizes the enduring presence of the force in the lives of those who believe in it. The Wizard of Oz concludes with the famous pink bubble. The bubble, the symbol of memory, fragility, and impermanence, joy, hope, illusions and illusion, transformation and change, wonder and fantasy, multiplicity and potential. The color pink embodies love, compassion, self-healing, radiating warmth, playfulness, and spiritual connection through the heart chakra. Color magic. The pink bubble floats in, the good witch, to tell Dorothy, you have always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself. Spirit isn't something we have to reach for, but something that we are. Whether through Jesus, inner stillness, meditation, ancient magic, nature, exercise, yoga, or key practices, the journey inward connects us to the same sacred source. The path to the divine is as unique as the soul walking it. All paths to the divine are sacred. The way out is the way in. No path is invalid if it brings you closer to truth, love, and awakening, an individual understanding and a holistic understanding, an empathic relationship with yourself and the world. I am an individual and I am part of the whole of human consciousness. Key to the universe number 2, empathy, is a magical power we all have access to use. The key to the universe number 1, as above, so below. We evolved empathy with our mirror neurons. The ape that looked into its own mind and saw the whole cosmos reflected inside. V.S. Ramachandran. With this self-awareness emerges a collective awareness when the left and right hemisphere of the brain are connecting and both firing equally. Here's a quote from Michio Kaku, a renowned American theoretical physicist, futurist, popular science communicator, and author. String theory takes you before the Big Bang. String theory takes you to the other side of a black hole. String theory takes you to other dimensions, other universes. A new picture is emerging. The picture given to us by Einstein is that the universe is a bubble. We live on the skin of the bubble, and the bubble is expanding. This is the Big Bang Theory. String theory says that there are other bubbles out there. There's a multiverse of bubbles, bubbles that collide with other bubbles to give an even bigger bubble, or the bubbles that cut in half to 2 smaller bubbles. Stephen Hawking called it the space-time foam. The space itself is foamy at a subatomic level, and these bubbles can become entire universes. So string theory says there was a world before the Big Bang. The Big Bang was just our universe, but there are other universes being created even as we speak. Even as we speak, universes are being created. String theory takes you way beyond Einstein's theory, and there are gateways between bubbles called wormholes, which, by the way, was actually introduced by Einstein himself in 1935. The creator of the Einstein-Rosen bridge is Albert Einstein. There are bridges between our universe and other universes. Wow! In string theory, all particles are vibrations on a tiny rubber band. Physics is the harmonies on the string. Chemistry is the melodies we play on vibrating strings. The universe is a symphony of strings. And the mind of God is cosmic music resonating in 11-dimensional hyperspace. Michio Kaku. Wow! You blow my mind. String theory is the theory. This is how we make sense to our best of our knowledge how the universe works in 2025. String theory is a theoretical framework in physics that tries to explain everything in the universe using tiny vibrating strings instead of point particles. These strings can vibrate at different frequencies and are the building blocks of all matter and forces in the universe. It's an attempt to unify all the forces of nature, gravity, electromagnetism, etc., into one theory, the God equation. In string theory, the fundamental particles, like electrons and quarks, aren't point particles, but tiny vibrating strings. So all science textbooks are now not accurate. It also suggests that there are many extra dimensions beyond the 3D world we see. Cool! Isn't that so groovy to think about? Next caller, please.
H-bomb, is the butterfly effect just stringing me along, or does it really tie into string theory? Unravel the mystery and help my understanding crystallize into something truly transformative. Sparkles and Butterfly.
Cool. Yeah. I am also very curious about the hidden threads that weave this universe together. Both theories are trying to understand how the simple rules of physics can result in complex, unpredictable behavior. String theory is a different concept in science from chaos theory, aka classical chaos. and it's chaos theory that gives birth to the butterfly effect. Chaos theory teaches us how tiny changes at the start of a system can cause huge, unpredictable outcomes. Chaos theory is the idea that a small change, like the butterfly flapping its wings in one corner of the world, can set a chain of events that tie to a much larger, unexpected, stormy outcome in a distant place, aka the butterfly effect. It's this dance of unpredictability in a complex system, like weather patterns or the movement of planets, that sparks our imagination. I really like Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman explanation from their book, Good Omens, the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter, which it used to be thought that the events that changed the world were things like big bombs, maniac politicians, huge earthquakes, or vast population movements. But it has now been realized that this is a very old-fashioned view held by people totally out of touch with modern thought. The things that really change the world, according to chaos theory, are the tiny things. A butterfly flaps its wings in the Amazonian jungle, and subsequently, a storm ravages half of Europe. String theory is also concerned with the deeper, more intricate rhythms of the universe. Instead of focusing on large systems like weather, string theory dives deep into the tiniest scales, imagining that everything, every particle, every force is made of minuscule vibrating strings. These strings vibrate in multiple dimensions, creating the fabric of reality we experience. The behavior of tiny vibrating strings that could lead to complex phenomena that are difficult to predict or fully understand. The interactions between strings might behave in ways that are chaotic, especially in higher dimensions or when combining gravity and quantum mechanics. There's also a field called quantum chaos that combines quantum mechanics, which is connected to string theory, with chaos theory. It explores how chaotic behavior, which we usually associate with classical systems like the weather or the movement of planets, might appear in quantum systems like electrons, atoms, and the particles governed by the rules of quantum mechanics. Scientists study and explore how even the tiny shifts in the quantum realm can lead to wildly unpredictable behavior. It studies how chaotic behavior can arise in quantum systems like the tiny vibrating strings of string theory. It's like the butterfly effect, but at a subatomic, microscopic level, where the universe at this scale follows strange, weird, and probabilistic rules of quantum mechanics. We have a caller.
Hi, Harmony, I am Alien? What is quantum mechanics?
So, quantum mechanics is the branch of physics that deals with the behavior of very small particles like atoms, electrons, and photons. It's famously weird and different from our everyday experience. Particles don't have definite positions and velocities until they are measured. They exist in a state of probability. Quantum superposition. Particles can exist in multiple states at once, like being in two places at the same time. Quantum entanglement. Particles can become linked so that the state of one can instantly affect the other, no matter the distance between them. Quantum entanglement is one of the key principles behind quantum computers. In a quantum computer, particles, usually qubits, which are the quantum version of a classical bit, can become entangled. This means the state of one qubit can be instantly connected to the state of another, even if they're far apart. What makes this so powerful for computing is that it allows quantum computers to process vast amounts of information simultaneously, possibly processing the information in multiple dimensions. Next caller, thanks.
Hello, H-bomb. Yes. Can a system that is governed by the probabilistic, uncertain rules of quantum mechanics show the kind of unpredictability and complexity we see in chaotic classical systems?
Why, yes, it can. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle teaches us that particles and waves behave according to probabilities and uncertainty. This means that chaos in the quantum world plays out differently than in classical systems. Quantum systems are deterministic in the sense that in theory, we could predict their future behavior if we knew exact starting conditions. However, due to quantum uncertainty and the probabilistic nature of the quantum mechanics, even a system that seems predictable can appear unpredictable over time. In classical chaos, small changes at the start of a system, like in weather patterns or a moving car, can lead to huge unpredictable outcomes. Even if we understand the rules of the system, tiny differences at the beginning make the future impossible to predict. In quantum chaos, it's a similar concept, but we're talking about tiny particles like electrons. These particles don't have definite positions until we measure them. They exist in a cloud of probabilities. The wave function gives us the likelihood of where a particle might be. Even though quantum particles follow the strange rules of quantum physics, like uncertainty and probability, their behavior can still be highly sensitive to small changes in their initial conditions, just like classical chaotic systems. So, like in classical chaos, small changes can lead to big, unpredictable effects. But in the quantum world, it's driven by probability and uncertainty. Here are some examples of systems where quantum chaos has been explored. Quantum billiards. Imagine a ball bouncing around inside of a box. In a classical system, small changes in where the ball starts could lead to completely different paths. In quantum billiards, particles inside a box can scatter and interfere with each other, and the final result can be unpredictable, even though the system itself follows quantum laws. 2. Quantum dots. These are tiny particles or structures, often made of semiconductors, that behave quantum mechanically. They can show chaotic behavior when subject to certain kinds of vibrations or electromagnetic fields. Cool. 3. Atoms and molecules. When you look at the orbits of electrons inside of atoms, for example, in an atom with multiple electrons, the quantum behavior can sometimes show patterns of instability and sensitivity to initial conditions, which are hallmarks of chaotic systems. Next caller, please.
Righto, KH-bomb. Why is this exciting? What does this have to do with reality creation?
Okay, so this delayed choice quantum eraser experiment is like a cosmic choose your own adventure story where the past and future seem to be linked in a crazy way. Here's the gist. In a typical double slit experiment, light or particles can act as both particles and waves, creating interference patterns like ripples in a pond. But when you try to measure the path the particle took, the interference vanishes and it behaves like a particle again. Now, here's where it gets wild. In the delayed choice quantum eraser, you can change your decision to measure or erase information about the particle's path after the particle has already passed through the slits. Like, wild. And guess what? The particle's behavior, wave or particle, is affected by that decision that you make. Even though it's already traveled through the slits, it's as if the particle knows what's going to happen in the future and it retroactively decides its past behavior. Time and reality are bending in ways we can't fully wrap our heads around. This touches on quantum superposition and interference, two mind-blowing concepts. Superposition means a particle can exist in multiple states at once. Think of it as a quantum multitasker, like Schrodinger's cat in the box. The cat is both alive and dead until you look. It's a paradox where reality doesn't decide until you observe it. Now combine that with interference. Quantum waves can overlap, creating patterns that are unpredictable and even canceling each other out in some cases. These are the basic building blocks of quantum behavior that defy our everyday experiences. Here's the shift. Classical physics works on determinism. Everything follows fixed rules. And if you know enough about the system, you can predict exactly what will happen. But quantum physics introduces probability. Particles don't follow a predictable path until they are observed, and their behavior exists as a cloud of possibilities. It's exciting, right? It's like the universe isn't just a fixed machine. It's full of potential, waiting for us to make the choice. So why is this all mind-blowing? Because it suggests that the universe isn't as solid as we think. The observer plays a role in shaping the reality. Maybe the universe isn't just a fixed set of laws. It's more like a simulation where the consciousness interacts with the fabric of existence to create the world we experience. In fact, if we consider the idea of being co-creators in a quantum-like simulation, this could mean that our awareness, thoughts, and intentions shape the outcome of events. We're not just passive beings in the universe. We're actively participating in its creation, just like the quantum particles choose their behavior based on how and when they're measured. This puts a whole new spin on our reality, one where we might be playing an essential role in shaping the world around us. Much like a simulation, we create and navigate together. So the next time you ponder the universe, remember, it's quantum weird. And we're all players in this strange mind-bending game. And it's you who decides when to open the cat box. Oh man, this is a call. One sec.
So Harmony, we've just dived into how quantum mechanics and our perception of the universe challenges the very nature of reality. But what if this is all part of something much bigger? Something we're all connected to, and maybe even the universe's way of experiencing itself through us? What role does human consciousness play in all of this? And could human consciousness actually be shaping the future of science?
Wow, that's a great point. Consciousness is the way the cosmos experiences and learns about itself. The evolution of human consciousness is its goal, growth and understanding. Just like how science itself evolves. We are cosmic consciousness, eternal spirit broken into countless pieces. Each of us here to learn, expand, and grow, all in the grand journey of experiencing life in a world of death. Our world is a burning fire of sacrifice with life as an offering being fed into it. The nature of life, life consuming life. Feed the fire. The ocean chose you, a unique droplet of consciousness, to stand alone, evolve, and contribute to the growth of human consciousness before returning back to the eternal ocean of cosmic awareness. I really believe we are all one. If I hurt you, that hurts me. Alan Turing was a genius, a brilliant mathematician and cryptanalyst who built the Turing machine, a theoretical mathematical construct in 1936 that was the foundational development of the technology that made it possible to crack the Enigma code and played a crucial role in the development of the modern computer. Humanity owes Alan Turing gratitude for the universal computation and digital computers. His work demonstrated that binary code using ones and zeros could represent data and instructions, which is exactly how modern computers operate. Beyond physical computers, Turing's ideas have influenced artificial intelligence and algorithmic theory. His Turing test, proposed in 1950, remains a foundational concept in AI, exploring whether a machine can exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to or indistinguishable from that of a human. Humanity owes Alan Turing a gratitude for peace and freedom from Nazi rule. Okay. I thought about not even putting this in here because we're talking about the law of attraction, but we need to talk about this. We need to understand the dynamics of symbols. We need to understand the importance of symbols and the psychological and emotional responses that are tied to them. Nazis used the power and the magic of symbols to promote hate, fear, and totalitarianism. The Nazis used symbols as a means of manipulating and controlling the masses. Nazis understood that symbols could tap into the deep psychological and emotional responses of a human being, often bypassing rational thought and directly influencing people's beliefs and behaviors. Symbols were used to unify their followers and to create an atmosphere of fear, oppression, and exclusion. The swastika was a symbol of positive energy before their use. Its earliest known use dates back to the Indus Valley civilization circa 2000 BCE, a symbol of life and cosmic harmony, appearing on seals and pottery, symbolizing well-being and prosperity, a far cry from its later association with the Nazis. By manipulating ancient magical symbols and using them in propaganda, the Nazis were able to build a powerful narrative that dehumanized an entire group of people, casting them as the enemy and justifying horrific acts in the name of twisted ideology. Aleister Crowley, 1875 to 1947, was an English occultist, writer, and ceremonial magician. Aware of the power of symbols and rituals, he encouraged Winston Churchill to promote the V for victory, a counter symbol of liberation, peace, and the defiance against tyranny. Each page in the magical journals showcases a unique magical symbol. Understanding their meanings and powers is essential for many spells, which is why I have compiled this information for you. The inspiration behind this channel stems from symbolism itself. I truly believe that as a society, we need to engage in conversations about these symbols and deepen our awareness of the profound psychological and emotional responses they have taken a toll on our minds and what they evoke in our minds. Promote consciousness, hope, and awareness. Alan Turing was a genius and a savior for humanity, and sadly was persecuted and marginalized, a victim of prejudice that ultimately cost him his life. There are compelling arguments that if humanity had chosen to celebrate Alan Turing, we would already have reliably working quantum computers today. Quantum computers are real and will provide amazing breakthroughs and usher in a new era of scientific discovery. We are all one. If I hurt you, it hurts me. Michio Kaku wrote a mind-blowing novel called Quantum Supremacy. I highly recommend it. It goes into detail about the future of quantum computers and their impact. Michio Kaku states that we are at an inflection point in history where rapid and profound changes are about to occur in technology, science, and human society. Thank you for teaching, Michio Kaku. Right on. I want this quantum future for us. And I want this quantum future for all of humankind and the future of humankind. There are many examples to reflect on in human history where ignorance and hate has blinded us and hindered our own advancement. I'll share a few quickly and highlight that the point of life is to evolve. Feed the fire, not stifle it. Bruno, an Italian philosopher, theologian, and cosmologist, was burned at the stake in 1600 for his proposition that the universe is infinite, that the earth is not the center of the cosmos, and that there are many worlds beyond our own, possibly inhabited. He was a visionary. 2, I'll talk about Galileo's trial further with Venus's alchemy symbol later on in this series. 3, witch hunts all throughout history. We all have psychic intelligence within us. 4, Arthur Holmes, a British geologist who made groundbreaking contributions to science of radiometric dating, which was the key to determining the age of the Earth at around 4.5 billion years ago. This man dedicated his life work to finding the answer for humanity and had to fight with oil and gas billionaires and took over 20 years with scientific data that lead is a neurotoxin and chronic exposure to even small amounts of lead could lead to long-term health problems, especially in children. In 1978, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commissioner finally banned the use of lead-based paint in residential properties and children's toys. Since the ban, levels of lead in children have declined over 75%. It is clear that there are no safe levels of lead in the human body. All children matter. They are the future of human consciousness. You matter as a part of the ocean of human consciousness. We are all star stuff made of atoms forged in the fiery hearts of distant stars. Every one of us in the cosmic perspective is precious. Our guiding stars are not the same as others. We are not meant to understand the guiding stars of others. We need to have grace with our limited perspective. We stand at a pivotal moment in history whereby embracing our own conscious intelligence and accepting both ourselves and those around us, we can make a meaningful impact directing our energy toward nurturing the evolution of human consciousness. Human consciousness is evolving at a rate of 2.2% per year. Dr. Carl Johan Kalman, a Swedish biologist and author known for his work on the Mayan calendar and his theories about the evolution of consciousness. Dr. Kalman proposed that consciousness evolves in a series of waves or cycles, each corresponding to a different level of existence. He ties the evolution of human consciousness to the cycles of the Mayan calendar, specifically the 9 underworlds, which correspond to different levels of consciousness and civilization. Consciousness evolves at a regular pace, influenced by these calendar cycles. The acceleration is occurring as we approach a new level of consciousness in the modern world, often tied to the idea of a shift in consciousness or an impending global transformation. Wow! The fact that human consciousness even exists and that we have the intelligence to discuss it. It blows my mind. When I think of the millions of years of evolution that has occurred before my consciousness had its opportunity to rise from the ocean and have reign over my physical temporary body that gives me the opportunity to move objects in this physical world and empowers me to make the most of my temporary time on this earth and to feed the evolution of human consciousness. Human consciousness is evolving. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to feed its evolution and development too. Support your local food banks. Support community kitchens. Support global food security. Support your local pesticide and spray-free farmers. Support public education and support your local community's universal school lunches. Our children are the future. Let's collectively visualize and look to a future where we prioritize feeding and nurturing the future of human consciousness. We are one. The Economist published this article highlighting how critical nutrients are during brain development to reach full potential. Support ways to feed our future. Feed the children. We all agree on the fact that organisms need nutrients to grow and thrive. The human brain is the most complex system in the universe. We've created AI systems inspired by the brain, yet we still don't fully understand how AI functions work or even how our own brain functions work. This AI article talks about how scientists are studying AI because we don't know how it works and are reverse engineering AI intelligence to understand how our own brains function. We don't know how quantum computers work. We don't know how our brain functions work, but we do know undoubtedly that organisms need nutrients to grow, and the brain is the most complex system in the universe. Last week, Tonight had an episode about school lunches last fall in 2024 that made me cry. John Oliver, thank you for creating. Thank you for teaching. It's true. You are always more excited to go to a place you know food will be served. Your physical temporary body will die, but human consciousness can live on and will live on and is evolving to be more intelligent. Let's feed the future, which, as we have already discussed in the Introduction to Magic Part 3, superhuman consciousness is the Akashic Record, a living entity that is awakening itself too. We are meant to evolve and connect, just as the snake sheds its skin. Wallace D. Wattles, 1860 to 1911, was an American author best known for his work on self-help, personal development, and the law of attraction. He's most famous for his book, The Science of Getting Rich, in 1910, and he writes on the law of opulence. Evolution is found only in the organic forms of life and is caused by the natural necessity of life to find fuller and fuller expression. Life on this earth began no doubt in a single cell, but a single cell could not give sufficient expression to life, and so it formed a double cell organism. Then organisms of many cells, then vertebrates, then mammals, and finally man. All of this because of the inherent necessity of life to advance forever into more complete expression. Evolution did not cease with the formation of man. Physical evolution ceased and mental and spiritual evolution began. Man, from the beginning, has been developing more ability to live. Each generation is capable of living more than the preceding generation. The race is continually advancing into more life. So we see the living of life means to live more. The action of consciousness continually expands consciousness. The primal necessity of mind is to know more and feel more and enjoy more. And this necessity of mind is the cause of social evolution and all progress. If we take conscious life as we must, to be the highest expression of God or of the mind of nature, then the purpose of all things must be to further the development of conscious life. If man is the highest form of conscious life, then the purpose of all things must be to further the development of man. If the development of man consists in the increase in his capacity for life, then the purpose of all things in nature must be to further the continuous advancement of man into more and more life. Life finds expression by the use of things. The measure of a man's life is not the things he possesses, but the number of things he is able to use rightly. To have fullness of life is to have all the things we are capable of using rightly. The purpose of the mind of nature being the continuous advancement of a man into more life. It must also be the intention of that mind that every man have unrestricted use of all the things he is capable of using and enjoying rightly, or that his own shall come to him. The purpose of God is that all should have life and have it more abundantly. God is the mind of nature, and God is in all and through all. Therefore, the mind or intelligence of God is in all and through all, like the leaven in the meal. The desire for advancement is a fundamental fact in the action of mind. Therefore, the desire for advancement is in all and through all. All things desire the advancement of every man. If a man desires any good thing to live his life more fully, that thing desires him also. The mind of things responds to the mind of man. When man desires advancement, all things work together for good for those who desire only advancement. The greatest to all facts to us is that there is a mind in nature which desires us to have all the things we are capable of using and willing to use in the direction of a fuller life. This mind is in the things themselves, tending to bring them toward us, and that if we take the right course, recognizing this mind and working with it, all things must come to us. But this mind is the mind of the whole, not of a part. And if we lose sight of the whole and enter into competition with our fellows who are apart, we lose all. The bubble of the universe is expanding and evolving, so you too will naturally expand and evolve. Today's theme song is Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. Do You Believe in Magic by The Lovin' Spoonful. And Broken English by Marianne Faithfull. I'm going to close our chat today talking about Eileen Caddy, 1917 to 2006. She was a British spiritual teacher and one of the founding members of the Find Horn Foundation, a well-known spiritual community in Scotland. She is best known for her work in spiritual guidance, intuitive living, and connection to divine wisdom. Caddy was deeply influenced by her spiritual experiences and guidance from a higher source, which she referred to as the inner voice or divine guidance. Over the years, she began to receive what she considered messages of wisdom that were a central part of her teachings and became a cornerstone of the Find Horn philosophy. Eileen Caddy's teachings were grounded in the belief that each person is a vessel of divine wisdom and that by turning inward, individuals can access the inner guidance that will lead them toward their highest potential. Their inner guidance that will lead you toward your highest potential. This Eileen Caddy quote encapsulates the essence of that belief. You have within you all the wisdom, all power, all strength, all understanding.